Hey guys, Jinlux here, back with our blind playthrough of Riven. With me today is Jack. He'll be up here in a second, but he's rubbing against my legs at the moment. Alright, so last time did we do the fire marble puzzle at that point? Yeah, I think so. I think we did figured out the combination to the linking books, activated the fire marble puzzle, went back to the linking book, got into Gehn's world. Yeah, that was good, man. That whole performance and all of his stuff, his little monologues. And then it's kind of funny because I figured going into that book ourselves would screw things up. I figured he'd figure it out at that point and it would be a bad end, but no, that was actually the way to do it. So now we're in Gehn. Now we're in his world, and I figure probably the way I don't know what you do at this point. I guess we have to free Catherine and signal Atris, and then that's it. But how you do those things, I don't know. So let us. I doubt we can go out because he was wearing like gear and stuff. What is this? Oh. Oh, it's a music player. Oh, that's cool. Oh, we must be sitting on the stool. Alright, well, let's... This is his pipe. Okay. I don't know what these are. Inks, maybe? This looks like a bone. But I don't think it is. That's a quill, though. That is absolutely a quill. I don't know if that's ink or preservative or something. Then you have another scarab. Oh, that was something, wasn't it? Yes. Oh. Oh, just go back. Okay, that's fine. Oh, not. No, okay. Huh. A linking book he was working on. Well, yeah, it doesn't have anything on the cover. I figured it was another journal, right? I don't know why you would do that. Because that... You know, that powers the books. So why you would do that, I couldn't tell you. Presumably you can go down there. So at least as far as options go... Oh my god, you're hairy. You're a hairy man. Huh. Oh, this is his bedroom. To Gehn something something. I really can't read what that says. Love something. So is that supposed to be Gehn? His eyes are really interesting too. And that looks like an instrument of some kind. Hopefully it's not a grenade. Okay, must be an alarm clock. Book. Plate and stuff. There goes Jack. There's Manny. Okay, hang on. We're gonna read that in a minute. Oh, this is... his wife?
Tagamem, san botegan shem. Fasi.
Well, I mean, he had to have he produced a son somehow, right? So presumably this is him and his wife. And then, I don't know what this is. Water? Yeah. Like a sink. Or bathroom. Bed seems nice enough. Alright, so let's read. I don't know how long this is actually going to be. I bet it's long. Okay. Okay, 86-9-29. I start this latest journal with astounding news. Catherine has returned to the Fifth Age, and though it sets my teeth on edge to say it, she has also vanished as quickly as she appeared, stolen from me by the rebels. You know, it's interesting, right? Because I'm trying to think of his journals. What have we seen of his own actions? I don't know if that makes sense. What I said. Because we've heard Gehn has done all this stuff, and then you kind of see, right, he executed people, or, executed them by feeding them to the frickin' sharks. Yeah. I thought it was funny. He talked about the people being violent. It's like, that's people, man. That's people in general. We're animals. And I mean that in the sense of, like, physically we're animals, but also mentally, most of us are animals. We all have those, just like cats play fight as in the same way that they hunt. Humans play as if, we enjoy the killing. You okay, Manny? Manny? You alright, Mellow Cat? Just sitting there. Are you okay? I mean, I guess he's allowed. Every little thing makes me worry these days. You alright? Okay, he's coming now. I mean, he doesn't have to, but... Okay. Alright, that sets my teeth on edge. As my guard tells it, she linked into the Fisher Plateau cage. As I'd guessed. When suddenly, he was... Oh, come on up here, Mr. Man. When suddenly he was set upon by a band of rebels who darted him and quickly spirited her away. I suspect the truth of the matter was that he was so dumbfounded at actually witnessing someone link in after all this time that he presented an easy target for whichever rebel had happened. Are you, You're in the way, Mr. Cat. Whichever rebel had happened by at that moment, the damnable luck of it. He did get... okay. You know, my cat is, like, right in front of the... You're crazy, man. You're crazy. Okay. He did get a good enough look at her, though, to verify that it was indeed Catherine. He also claims that he inspected all of her belongings and found no linking book on her person, a fact which, if true, makes the question of why she'd returned here all the more puzzling. While I'm sick with frustration at having lost the only quarry that Cage has ever caught, I'm also filled with hope. She may yet provide me with a way back to Denis. It is true that I have managed, despite overwhelming odds, to break free of the confines of the Fifth Age and resume my mission to save my culture from extinction. But I fear that unless I am able to regain access to the vast resources that lie in the city's ruins... Oh, sorry, my cat. Sorry. Okay, well, you just be careful, alright? He's like, no, I really want to get on right here. Anyway, where am I? Okay. You were a kitten. You were my little kitty man. Okay. To regain access to the vast resources that lie in the city's ruins, the task of reconstructing that great civilization will be impossible. If Catherine did bring a linking book with her, then I am halfway there. If not, then she is trapped in the Fifth Age, and I can assume that my emotionally crippled son will soon be along to rescue her. Interesting. Yeah. So I don't know what happened to Gen's wife, but maybe he let her die, and he views, like, saving people as a weakness or something. Either way, it is crucial to my plans that I find her soon. Her presence here now forces me to take the rebels more seriously. I should never have permitted them to survive this long. See, there you go. I mean, well... But it's a problem. Statescraft, or whatever you call it, like, being a ruler, like, you have to get your hands dirty. Once again, the great work has demonstrated its usefulness to me. This past week, the villagers have been most difficult to manage. Apparently, they have learned of Catherine's arrival, and their fear of this mythic beast have been all that has kept them in line. Had I known how truly useful these prodigious creatures would prove to be, I would have perhaps captured more of them while the local population was still plentiful. Although, to be sure, if these disturbances continue, my current pets will be in no danger of perishing for lack of nourishment. Oh, he feeds them people? Including his own villagers? That's not good. The search for Catherine continues. I now deeply regret my mistake of having ever taught these primitive people anything at all about the books. It seems that with each passing day, I more sorely realized the extent to which they were not ready for that knowledge, not even in the simplified manner in which I had presented it to them. Their minds, adapted only to the exceptionally menial tasks of village life, were incapable of comprehending the art in all its complexity, and thus were unable to extract the essential underlying principles that are, ironically, so elegantly simple. It is obvious that much of the discord that exists between us stems from their failure to grasp the full meaning of the information I gave them. So here's the problem. People today will be like, oh my god, it's so racist to view other people as more primitive or dumber. And it's like, that's literally how it is. You know, it's not... It's not that one race is necessarily morally superior or inferior to another race, right? The thing is, all races are equal in terms of the law, right? They're all people, and that's true. However, it's not that let's talk about Asians. That way we're not talking about the negative, right? Asians are generally considered to be smarter, possibly the smartest of all races. Is that true? Who knows? Is it because of their skin color that they are smart? No. It is it's not even a correlation, I would say. It's a coincidence. It is a natural selection in a sense that, because there's plenty of dumb Asians, like especially in China. In China, I think they said, what is it, 25% of the people, or 25% of there's some. If you look at the actual world statistics of access to fresh water and stuff, like, it's not societal factors, that's not the right term, but technological advancement factors. I'm not saying it right, but basically there's a certain percentage of China that still is effectively in the Stone Age because they don't have access to fresh water. You know, they have to, like, their source of fresh water is like lakes and rivers and stuff, and like they don't have plumbing or power. You know what I mean? That's not something that people think about, but that's kind of how it is in like rural China in some places. Yeah, it's they probably do have vehicles, right? But it's not like they're necessarily Amish people, but I'm sure it's not like they don't have plumbing or electricity or something. It's like, oh, the person from the town will come once a week to sell us supplies or something. I don't know. Right? But it's not a skin color thing. It is a possibly even a cultural thing, right? So you look at Africa, like actual Africa, and there are many of them are dumb, and it's because they don't need to be smart, and in fact being smart might be a hindrance based on their culture, right? Because it's very patriarchal, it's like tribal, kind of small village. It's so annoying to me that you bring this stuff up, and maybe a large percentage, crime is associated with low intelligence, or at least violent crime. Okay, so are black people dumber on average? It's very possible. Is there a moral, thing? Is there a moral quality to that? Does that mean, I'm necessarily a better person? Does that make them a worse person? No, not necessarily. I mean, the criminals, yes, absolutely. Criminals are worse, but it doesn't make you a better or worse person. Your intelligence, I mean. It just annoys me that we can't actually talk about this because of people are so looking to be offended, or rather, they're not actually offended. They just want to use offense as a means to bludgeon other people. Anyway, but you say this and it's like, oh, they're primitive. It's like, some people are primitive, some people are dumber. Is it, was it Aborigines? There's the whole song like "Don't Be Rama Rama" because they sniff petrol and they huff gasoline, basically, or even the freaking Indians / Native Americans. You know what I mean? There's a reason that there's so much drug use and stuff, is because they were not. It's essentially the prime directive. Like, if we're going to reference Star Trek, you don't give advanced technology to lower societies with lower technological advancement, because they are not ready for it. They have not learned the lessons associated with that. right? And I would say more accurately, their culture has not developed to deal with it. Um, you know, and hell, look at ours. I would argue that current modern day Western civilization is regressing culturally. So, who the hell knows? But yes, some people are dumber than others, and some cultures are better and worse than others. You know, and anyone that's like, no, cultures aren't better or worse, yeah, they are. Are cannibal cultures better or worse than non-cannibal cultures? You know, no one wants to answer an actual legitimate question like that because the answer is yes. The answer is yes if you actually look at. I'm gonna rant. I'm ranting. Some cultures actually are objectively better or worse than others. That's literally how it is. You know. And the problem is, you know, a lot of them are third world cultures, the worse ones, right? There's a reason third world cultures are not, you know, there's a reason they're third world. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's kind of like socioeconomic status, right? The people at the bottom are generally there for a reason. It's not always true 100% of the time, but generally they belong at the bottom. It's not because they're worse people, although some of them are. It's because they're either undisciplined or, you know, they make bad choices or they're just dumber, right? They might not be able to understand. That's not a moral judgment, but it is reality, you know? Okay, anyway. But there's also, that said, there is a difference then between that, like an actual objective evaluation being like, you know, this group is dumber or this group is, you know, culturally worse, but they also could be fine and Gehn could just be an asshole. You know what I mean? But that's also not mutually exclusive. Gehn could be an asshole and a tyrant, and the Rivenese might actually be, you know, small-minded. They might be dumb. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You know. Anyway, if they'd been able to gain even the smallest glimpse of the future I'd planned for them, then this conflict would not exist. The minds of children are much more malleable. With the proper instruction, they have developed a more appropriate posture towards the culture that gave them their lives. At times, they take to it almost as if they had a bit of Denis blood in them. Given the natives' inborn limitations, however, I'm quite careful that none gain a level of understanding that would permit them to sin against their future the way that Catherine did. How foolish I was to think that she could contain such knowledge responsibly when it was quite clear that my own son could not. I mean, yeah, the whole children thing. I think because here's the thing, right? Let's say if culture is selecting against, if it's selecting for the lowest common denominator, right? If it's, you know, selecting that, if it's selecting against, you know, rational people or selecting against intelligent people or selecting against moral people, then the way to change it is you have to change the culture and then raise up the kids in that culture. Like, it's not, you can't, people generally don't change. You know, you can't fix society and culture. It's all about the kids, which is why, you know, so much of current politics is all about, like, you know, think of the children and all, and teaching them whatever and teaching them this and I'm by the way, I'm not one of these Bible thumpers. I despise the fact that the religious right would get their claws on kids and teach them, oh, whatever, evolution's a myth or whatever bullshit. But at the same time, the other extreme where, drag time story hour or whatever is like, no. Hell no. Anyway. Me. Yeah. I'm sure I've lost viewers and subscribers and all that stuff as a result of my views, but if you want to have a conversation about it, we can. That's totally fine. But if you're, I shit on leftists pretty regularly, especially if you go watch other things on the channel. But and it's interesting that the problem is it's basically an ideology. I say leftists, not liberals, because liberals are different. Liberals are left-leaning, but leftists are like ideologically far left. They're extremists, basically. So, and unfortunately, basically, I don't debate people because they don't like to actually. I'm willing to be wrong, but I won't put up with deceit and manipulation and stuff like that, and name calling. And that's unfortunately what people do. I don't debate people in general. I don't even really talk to people in general because by and large, people aren't interested in learning. They're not like, here's my information. Am I wrong? Am I wrong or am I right? They're not interested in like, let's everyone put their cards on the table and figure out what of this information is true. They're not like, let's share information and figure out how much is true and what's untrue. They put their cards out and they're like, I win. And that's what it is. It's all about winning. It's not about sharing information, And the problem with that is they're not in their mindset to learn, and they won't learn. What they will do is if you are correct and they are wrong and they want to win, they will do mental gymnastics to take crazy ass positions because they need to win so desperately. And the farther left they are, and probably the farther right, is the same way, right? And it doesn't matter. You could say, yeah, I think kids shouldn't be raped, right? And they'd be like, well, some kids deserve it. Just insane positions just to attempt to win the argument. And that's what I mean. I don't like that. And I've gotten comments like, not that bad, but I've gotten comments before similarly where they basically, as soon as they call you a racist or a bigot, you've won. They don't have any other things to say, so anyway, I didn't really want to get into that, but here we are. Anyway, like I said, if you have any thoughts, comments, whatever, we could talk about it, but if you're just going to call me a bigot or attempt to win the argument, no, you can F off. I don't need that. I call people out on it. I've done it before. I'll do it in the future, I'm sure. The minute you're like, well, you're this and that and blah, 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 I'm going to be like, yeah, you're not being genuine or whatever. Okay. Atris, still he remains one of the greatest disappointments of my life. Ouch. I should never have left him with my mother. By the time I'd returned to him, he had already been poisoned as to all thoughts of the Denis. Perhaps it was the only way that she could rationalize the fact that she had been responsible for the collapse of their civilization. Whoa. So much destruction, so many great lives lost. The guilt must have been unbearable. I do have vague recollections of the love she had for my father and for our world, but ultimately she was an outsider whose ignorance of the Denis became the catalyst for their demise. If I'm able to rebuild our culture and in the process correct such crucial weaknesses, then perhaps what she did was ultimately necessary in order that a new era of prosperity might someday come to pass. Well, that's interesting, especially because Gehn cannot make worlds that are stable. These last few weeks, I've found myself frequently beset by images from the past. As I stood in the schoolroom today, I was reminded of my own childhood, the years I spent in the Bookmakers Guild, father's immense pride at each of my small accomplishments there. He was an important man in the Denis world. Oh, so he literally is of the Denis. But I can't bear to think of him for long. It's too much. I was too young to see such a thing. I've got her. Late last night, I received word that Catherine was in the village attempting to persuade the people to join her. I lost 2 good men in the process, but I would have paid 100 times that number for such a prize. She's been taken to the prison island. Okay. Where I've been attempting to gain some insight as to the reason for her presence here. I've had to fight the all but constant impulse to put her on the gallows. She has adopted the most infuriating stance of only answering my questions, when she answers them at all, in her native tongue. Even so, she is a poor liar. I'm now quite certain that her return to Riven was unintentional and that she brought no linking book with her. As far as her unwillingness to share with me the location of the moiety, we shall see. Without their leader, however, they are once again powerless against me. If Catherine's coming here was indeed an accident, then Atris is bound to come here, or come for her. That is a given. The question I must now consider is, how will he do it? It is likely that his hesitation has been due, at least in part, to this dilemma. One way or another, though, he'll have to bring a linking book to get back to Denis. There is no other way. It's late and I cannot sleep. I've lost so much of my life, my people, my father. It's weird that the ink is changing here. I've lost so much in my life. Many people, my father, my son, and you, my wife, Keta. You are the only true kindness I've ever known. Watching you flicker there in the images, I sometimes wonder if you were real. If I could restore your life with my pen, I would do so in an instant, and leave the rest of the world to their own wretched fate. Damn these savages! I would be well advised to leave them in all the fifth, leave them all in the 5th age and begin again with a clean sheet of paper. A stranger has arrived on Riven with a linking book to Denis, and once again my useless minion was overtaken by the rebels. From what little I could decipher from his muddled explanation, okay, so yeah, he is alive. It apparently occurred sometime this morning. The cage has been damaged, but it's no matter. Everything I need is here now. Atris is certainly behind this, yet how could he be so foolish as to send someone here with a linking book? Such blatancy is unlike him. Could it be that he had a change of heart? After all these years, is he finally letting his poor old father go? No, he's only after one thing. Perhaps he should find her. For now, I need only to wait and observe. Interesting. Well, maybe this was his father and mother? Probably so. Gehn. Yep. Alright, well, do we try going out the door? Let's save in case it lights us on fire or something. Yeah, we'll save over this one. That's fine. Ah. Okay. Okay, it's, yeah, there's probably no way to get out. I imagine, I mean, you know, it doesn't look super hospitable, so that's fair. Alright, in that case... Nope, that was the wrong thing. There we go. We'll go there, and then we'll save and stop for the day. Because it'll be a good, like, transition point. because we read the journal, we talked a bunch of smack or whatever that I'm sure will piss off people. It's funny though, because I don't like, you know, I don't actually bear any ill will to people. I mean what I say about the whole, like, people are people regardless. Like, I've said this example before, which is, let's say on average, a group of people are dumber, but also on average they are better parents. What then? Because it's like, well, how do you, are they, because, it's not like a moral superiority thing. It's like, well, would that be a culture that is better? Or is that a culture that's worse? You know what I mean? How do you judge that? Oh, okay, yeah, there's the big tree. Is this the end? It seems strange. Anyway, that's it for today. So what did we do this episode? Well, I think on the last episode we had tried we'd gotten the bad ending, right? So we started this episode, we looked around this world's place. And I mean, I don't, like, what do we do now? We just have to free Catherine, right? And then Gehn is Gehn. Like, Gehn has been beaten. And then it's just free Catherine and signal Atris, and that's it, I think. I would imagine it's not going to be some grand reveal like, oh, Catherine's actually crazy or believes herself a prophet or whatever. I don't think that's the case, and this game is too old to have that cynical. If this was made today, it would probably be that way. It's like, oh, the twist, but it's nice that villains are actually villains and heroes are actually heroes. So we basically looked around Gehen's home on the New World, Gen's New World. I keep saying Gehn. I probably will continue to say Gehn. Talked a bunch about villainy in a weird way, right? Like Gehen's viewpoints on people. Like, he might be an asshole, but he might also be right. And that's really something you have to look at, like, especially all these people that think that leftists, whatever, or just ignorant people. Like, when I was young, I was far more left leaning than I am now, but I haven't moved that much. I was just, I guess, a bit more ignorant, right? Because I wanted the whole, oh, if we all just work together, but it's like that's never going to happen. The minute you actually start being in charge of people, you see how petty and short-sighted they are. Like, even trying to plan a freaking party, like an office party, like, try doing that and you'll start to see how shitty and petty people can actually be, and then understand that utopia is just not a thing that's going to happen. You'd need to freaking, like, lobotomize everybody, basically. The level of atrocity that you would have to do onto people, like, to take away their free will, make them slaves, whatever. Yeah, just the game Alpha Centauri, they called it nerve stapling, right? Where you just, like, turn people into drones. That's You'd have to do something like that. People would just become. You'd have to remove people's humanity, right, in order to create this alleged utopia. But yeah, we talked a bunch of smack maybe, but like I said, if you want to actually have a conversation, we could do that. I just haven't met anyone that actually wants to have one. But at the same time, we don't have to have one either. It's consider what I say. You can leave a comment. I'll consider it. I'm willing to be wrong. And yeah, talked a bunch of smack. Read Gehn's journal, Gen's journal. Looked around his room, and then took the linking book to the prison island. Yeah, it's weird because this game just keeps going. Like, it feels like you fully explore all the things, and then you're like, wow, I don't know where this could go from here. And that's sort of how I feel. It's like, it's just, yeah, I don't know what else there is aside from freeing Catherine and signaling the things. There's got to be something with the Starfisher, but I don't. But what? I couldn't tell you. Anyway, but that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Really do appreciate it. Really hope you guys are enjoying these episodes. Questions, comments, concerns, good, bad, or indifferent, let me hear them. I do read all of them. I do try and respond to all of them as well, even the unkind ones. What is your guys' unique positive moment for today? For me, I'm gonna go with the. I guess I'll go with Manny in my lap because he is super adorable, and he's just a good cat, and he's still doing well. I mean, you could tell it hurts him to walk, like his back feet kind of hurt, but and probably his front feet too, to be honest. But he's still my good little man. That is all. He's 15. I hope he makes. I just want him to be healthy. Whatever age he finally passes. I mean, I'm okay. He's had a good life, and as long as he stays healthy and happy, I'm fine. I don't want him to live just to live. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, the kitties, that's my unique positive moment. So, that's mine. Hopefully your guys is just as good, if not better. Hopefully better, of course. Hope to see you guys next time. Till then, guys, take care.